Welcome, my dear friends, to the next edition of the spiritual wisdom selected by our Brahmarshi Pitamaha Patriji from Harold Percival's book Thinking and Destiny. We have been seeing how the doer in the body has to act in alignment with the knower and the thinker to effectively function on this great planet Earth. We studied what the physical body is in the last edition, and today we go to the next topic, sleep. I am accompanied by Brahma Vidvarishta Girijarajan, my life partner, and our daughter Poonima in this great book, sharing the wisdom of this book, of this great book. And we are sure, as we read the book and as we understand the book in various stages, we will be progressing in the matter of consciousness and moving closer to enlightenment. In the course of the reading, we will be having a small discussion on some of the very important points which we deem necessary for discussion. So I just move on to what Percival has mentioned about today's topic, sleep. Sleep is either deep or dream. Deep sleep is a state in which you withdraw into yourself. You are out of touch with the senses. It is the state in which the senses have stopped functioning as a result of having been disconnected from the power by which they function. This power is you, the doer. Dream is the state of partial detachment, the state in which your senses are turned from the outer objects of nature to function inwardly in nature, acting in relation to the objects that are perceived during wakefulness. When, after a period of deep sleep, you re-enter your body, you at once awaken the senses and begin to function through them again as the intelligent operator of your machine, ever thinking, speaking, and acting as the feeling and desire which you are.
Thank you for giving this great message, part of message on sleep by Harold W. Percival. Sleep is nothing but a temporary withdrawal from our routine activities. Every day we have got so many activities, and at the end of the day, that is when the night sets in, definitely a person feels very tired, he cannot continue. He has to have enough rest for the body. So the power which was operating the body, operating the senses to perceive things outside, they go within, and the doer in the body withdraws himself from the very machine that was operating, that the doer was operating upon. So the machine is given enough rest so that it can function very well. After the rest, again man has to come back to life and continue life. So sleep is not the end of the day, it is an ongoing process, because in intermittent rest, which is called as sleep. So every organism or every living being needs this rest, because otherwise the system is highly active and all the time working, and definitely a machine has to have some rest. That is what is sleep. But in sleep we have other things like a dream state, then deep sleep state, again we come back to dream state. So like that wakeful state, dream state, deep sleep, again dream, then we wake up. So that is how it is going on. But the senses through which we were functioning, the senses are drawn inside, and through those senses from inside and with the help of the nature, we do perceive so many things or we see so many things which we term as dream. So as we proceed, we'll know even deeper things, even we can understand in a better way. And I request Purnima ji to just give her thoughts on this.
Hello friends. So from the para which was read by Mr. Rajan, we can see that here he mentions that there is the sleep is either deep or it is a dream. So dream state of sleep is not deep. We can understand that from the first sentence. And what else I got to know from this para is he keeps mentioning that we are detached from our senses. So something inside us, we can also infer from this para that there are some other inner senses which are active during our sleep state, which is actually the same that happens in meditation too. But here in sleep we are unconscious completely. In meditation we are conscious. That is the only difference. And another point which he has mentioned is we are also going out of body. Like we slip away is what he says, and we also come into our body. As you can read this para once again, you can find that there is a mention of all these points. So as we read further on, we'll understand a little more of what he wants to actually give, the message that he wants to give.
In your body and out of your body, alternately awake and asleep day after day, through life and through death, and through the states after death, and from life to life, through all your lives, your identity and your feeling of identity persist. Your identity is a very real thing and always a presence with you. But it is a mystery which one's intellect cannot comprehend. Though it cannot be apprehended by the senses, you are nevertheless conscious of its presence. As with sleep, so with death. Death is but a prolonged sleep, a temporary retirement from the human world. You are conscious of it as feeling. You have a feeling of identity.
Yes, very beautifully put. These words have been given by Mr. Percival. That is, every day we go to sleep. Definitely, all of us, all the organisms, all the living beings, they have to take rest. That is very important. Just like we live the whole day and night we sleep. And so periodically we go into this rest state called sleep. That is compared to the birth and death. Like in birth we come back to life, again we go into sleep, that is known as death. That is how it happens. It goes on like this. Like in a lifetime, every day we are active during certain time and we go to sleep sometime in a day. So like that we come to this earth, that is the waking state, we live through the life. Then at the end of the lifetime we just pass out from here, that is known as death. After that we take rest like in sleep, then again come back, wake up, that is called as birth. So it goes on like this for eons of time. So it is really wonderful that he has compared every day to every lifetime. Every lifetime we stay here on this earth planet is like a day that we spend. It is similar to that. So it goes on like that in a person's life. But the identity, the soul knows very well that who it is, what it is. Even though the senses cannot comprehend, the body cannot comprehend what it is, but a feeling will come definitely that that identity, that I-ness, that special qualities that we have, that is retained very well. This is what Patriji often tells us, that it is the sleep and death are similar. So we go into sleep, we go into death also. So it is that there is no death, that's what we should understand. Like sleep is only a period of rest, temporary retirement from activity, just like that from temporary rest from lifetime, because you have lived a lifetime, so many years, and then you have to take rest. That is called as death. We term it as death, but actually there is no death. Only the body goes away, but the identity, the soul, the entity lives on. The energy, consciousness and wisdom entity, it goes on and on and on forever.
So here I would like to add a few more points. In sleep, Patriji has told us a few points, so I would like to mention that here. So in sleep, what happens is our astral body goes out of our physical body, and our silver cord extends to any distance, whereas in death it is snapped, the silver cord is snapped, and it is permanent astral travel. So we go on to the other lokas and other galaxies or any other dimension which we might have to go to. So it is a permanent astral travel. Death is permanent astral travel. Sleep is temporary astral travel, but unconscious. In meditation, we do that consciously, and that is what is expected of us to do. So with deep meditation, we get a clear picture of our out-of-body experiences, which we do in sleep, which we don't actually remember. So these are also very connected. So, and he has also compared sleep and death. It was put beautifully by Mrs. Girija Rajan. She has explained to you now. I think this is about this para now.
This self, this you, which is conscious throughout your present life, is the same self, the same you that was similarly conscious of continuing day after day through each of your former lives. Although your long past is a mystery to you now, your previous lives on earth are no greater wonder than is the present life. Every morning there is the mystery of coming back to your sleeping body from you do not know where, getting into you do not know how, and again becoming conscious of this world of birth and death and time. At the beginning of each re-existence, you enter a new body that has been transformed, that has been formed for you by nature, trained and made ready by your parents or guardians as your new residence in the world, a new mask as a personality.
So, very well put by Percival, and Patriji has taken out this pearls of wisdom and given to us. This is extremely great to think that every day we do die, every night it is similar to death. We come out of the body. But there is a connection that is connected by the silver cord. But otherwise, death and sleep are similar only. Only temporarily we go out, and we don't even know how we go out and how we come inside. Where we go after coming out of the body, where do we go? That we do not know. And next, when the sleep is over, how do we come back? That also we do not know. We are unconscious of all these things. So it is better for us to know all these things consciously, be aware of everything. As we proceed in reading this book, definitely we will all understand and we will all come to the realization of these great truths that is happening to us every day. But we are very much unconcerned about it, because it happens automatically. We come back to the body automatically and we don't care much about it. But one thing is very sure, whether in sleep or in death or in meditation, we do come back. The identity is retained, that never changes. The I never changes. It's always the same. I always will be the same. Only thing, the experiences are different. We enter the body, come out of the body. That is what is happening in all these three things. That is what Patriji also has told us all. And so these three things are out of body experiences that give us out of body experiences, and definitely we do come back to the body, and and in death what happens, we do come back to some other body which is already ready to occupy, so through our parents. So it's all very clear for us. Now we should, these three out of body experiences we should understand very well, so that when we further move on, we will be able to understand much other complex subject that is dealt with by Mr. Percival.
So here he mentions that we don't remember anything, whether in sleep or in death or in between lives or the next birth, everything. So everything we are forgetful of. So everything is unknown to us, a kind of such a mystery, he says. So here I would like to add something, that is, Patriji has given us this great path of meditation, and meditation will remind you of everything, whether it is past lives or whether it is your dream state or whether it is your present lifetime. Everything you will become conscious of, and that is what ultimately Percival also expects us of. We need to remember everything.
A personality is the persona, mask through which the actor, the doer, speaks. It is necessary to understand about re-existence and destiny, else it is impossible to account for the differences in human nature and character. Heredity has to do with the body, but character is made by one's thinking. Law and justice do rule this world of birth and death, else it could not continue in its courses, and law and justice prevail in human affairs. But effect does not always immediately follow cause. Sowing is not immediately followed by harvesting. Likewise, the results of an act or of a thought may not appear until after a long intervening period. Each self in a human body makes its own law as destiny by what it thinks and what it does, though it may not be aware when it is prescribing the law, and it does not know just when the prescription will be filled as destiny in the present or in the future life on earth.
So this is also very wonderful. See how we ourselves form our own destiny. That is, we create our own realities. That is what has been told in PSSM. That is the essence of the spiritual science wisdom that is imparted to us by Patriji. So we are the solely responsible for our lives. So as we go into sleep, so do we go into other births. So how other births are being formed? Only by our own acts and our own thinking. That other we plan our come back to the physical body and coming back to the physical life on this earth is determined by our own law and rules that we ourselves form, because depending upon our thinking and our actions of the previous lifetimes that we have spent here on this earth planet. So we should clearly understand these subjects. So we are the only persons, we create all these things. So how we have to think, how we have to act, how we have to speak, all those things we have to learn perfectly in order to have a very wonderful life on this earth. So we can plan it so beautifully. So we can come here and learn and enjoy also. So that is what is being told here. But Percival also tells the same thing in a very beautiful manner. So all of us would have understood this, I think. So the identity never changes, and we are solely responsible for our lives.
Here one other thing is mentioned, that is if we put a seed now, it takes a while for it to get harvested. So the same way, if we put a thought now, then it will take a while for it to for us to get the results. So as far as possible, have positive and miraculous thoughts. About thoughts, I think Patriji has explained it beautifully. He has given how negative thinking is not negative, and disastrous thinking is not to be entertained, and it has to be removed every now and then whenever it occurs, and also only have positive and miraculous thinking. I think here also meditation plays a very important role. As we meditate, we get to be more conscious of the thoughts that occurs to us, and we have to just remove them. And here another point is mentioned by Percival, that is there is like our character, that is our character, our identity, or whatever that is there with us, that is always there with us, is shaped by our thinking. So we need to have only positive and miraculous thinking, as the masters have had. Always the great masters like Buddha, Krishna, and all of them had wonderful thoughts. So that shaped their character. You can see that. We can see how they dealt with every person, how they went through life so beautifully. So here the thoughts are the main the main ingredient into the ingredient of our character. That is what Percival says.
Yeah, very beautifully put by Percival. That is, our thoughts, they form our character, but whereas the heredity is limited only up to the physical body. So heredity is being talked of in today's science as if the qualities of every human being is brought about only in that family. But that is not so, because we are born in several religions, several places. So how can we cannot stick on to the same family in order to get the same hereditary characteristics. Not at all. It is not possible. So our character is only dependent on our thoughts, whereas heredity determines the physical body, only limited to that. That we have to clearly understand now. Differentiate between the two and understand.
I have got to say something to add on to what they have said. That is, Percival has said that law and justice do rule this world of birth and death. What does he thereby mean? He means, or without even mentioning the word karma, he only means that law and justice prevail in human affairs, and effect does not always immediately follow the cause. This I could conceive, or this I could comprehend, that he meant that whatever good has been done, the effects thereof or the good things thereof will not immediately follow, just as sowing is not immediately followed by harvesting. Similarly, in the case of bad karma too, the effects thereof will not be realized and or faced by the incumbent until either one lifetime or many more lifetimes. So he may be subjected to the punishment under the law of karma if he has done some bad deeds in some other later lifetimes, and so indirectly the law of karma is also touched upon by Percival. Sleep and death. A day and a lifetime are essentially the same. They are recurring periods of a continuous existence in which the doer works out its destiny and balances its human account with life. Night and death too are very much alike. When you slip away to let your body rest and sleep, you go through an experience similar to that which you go through when you leave the body at death. Your nightly dreams, moreover, are to be compared with the after-death states through which you regularly pass. Both are phases of subjective activity of the doer. In both, you live over your waking thoughts and actions, your senses still functioning in nature, but in the interior states of nature. And the nightly period of deep sleep When the senses no longer function, the state of forgetfulness in which there is no memory of anything corresponds to the blank period in which you wait on the threshold of the physical world until the moment you reconnect with your senses in a new body of flesh, the infant body or child body that has been fashioned for you. When you commence a new life, you are conscious as in a haze. You feel that you are a distinct and definite something. This feeling of I-ness or selfness is probably the only real thing of which you are conscious for a considerable time. All else is mystery. For a while you are bewildered, perhaps even distressed by a strange new body and unfamiliar surroundings. But as you learn how to operate your body and use its senses, you tend gradually to identify yourself with it. Moreover, you are trained by other human beings to feel that your body is yourself. You are made to feel that you are the body.
Yeah, beautifully said. He compares the sleep time as a state after death. It's true, the identity goes on without much change. It collects all the experience, that is the soul collects all the experiences. The identity of the I-ness, it is intact even while sleeping. When we go to sleep, so many things, the day full of stress and strain, so many thoughts would have come to us before going to sleep. We become very tired, we want to sleep. But the next day when we get up, we find solutions for so many problems that were there the previous night, and they all get solved. So many ailments, they get rectified. So many changes happen in that period also. The senses are a bit removed from outer to inner being. But at the same time, the identity never changes. So we go through that. But during deep sleep, nothing is known to us. We are not conscious of what is happening at all. We do not know. Likewise, a period occurs during death also. We go into a state of half memory, and then we go into deep states where we don't even remember what has happened. So like that we come back to life again, enter into the child's body. But the child never knows that it cannot identify itself with the body at all. Because it knows very well at that stage as a child that it is not the body, it knows very well. But as it grows, the others who are there near it, they definitely make it understand that it is his body or her body, that it is, that he is or she is. So we always tend to identify ourselves with the body. It is by our bringing up the child, that stage, we understand that we are the bodies. So first we understood when we are unable to know what the surroundings are. So we are not very much familiar with the surroundings. But we know that we are not the body. But at that time we don't express as a child. Later on, the original idea fades away and we get the idea that we are the bodies. Then again when we come to spiritual path, we do have to go back and know that we are not the bodies, we are the soul or the Atman, the doer in the body, that which activates the body. That we have to understand that slowly, and then we have to realize it for ourselves by deep thinking. So it is very wonderfully put that we do pass through all these stages, as in sleep, so in death.
So here there is a mention of the after death state also. He is told we go into a blank period. So that is exactly what happens. Many people are not conscious of their death also. The meditators and the masters are very much conscious. That is the difference. So they know that they have left their body permanently and they have gone to the higher levels. But the normal ordinary man does not know that he has died or he has left his body. He is not conscious unconscious of. Here he's mostly talking about the ordinary human being. So there is a threshold of physical world. That's where he finds himself. And then after that state passes off, he will get into a new body.
Accordingly, as you become or come more and more under the control of your senses, you become less and less conscious that you are something distinct from the body that you occupy. And as you grow out of childhood, you will lose touch with practically everything that is not perceptible to the senses or conceivable in terms of the senses. You will be mentally in the physical world, conscious only of phenomena of illusion. Under these conditions, you are necessarily a lifelong mystery to yourself.
Yeah, it is a very great subject that is touched upon. Very beautifully put, in a simple terms. That is what happens, we become slaves to the senses. So, the eyes are there, they are wide open. We see, but we don't look. That is the whole thing. Because our mind is somewhere else, in illusions, in thought process, in so many other things. It is engaged somewhere else. But the sense organs are there. They see, they touch, they smell, everything is there. But we are unconscious of. Like the food that we eat, most of the times, we unconsciously eat. We don't even know the taste of the food. We don't even remember what food we have taken in the morning. So like that, life goes on without any awareness. No conscious living is there at all. So the senses, they do their work, but we don't take advantage of that. So the doer is somewhere, the mind is somewhere else, and the actions of the senses are not at all perceived clearly. So like in a dream state only we live most of the times. So we have to put an end to that, because we start identifying ourselves more with the body than with ourselves, that the doer in the body. So we have to come to know that, understand at some point of time that we are the doers in the body, and that we are permanent. Our identity never changes, it remains intact. That is what we should understand.
This para reminds me of one sloka from Bhajagovindan by Adi Shankaracharya, which says that as we are born, we tend to play in childhood. In our youth, we tend to spend time in other activities. When we grow old, we can never tend our mind or bring it to a no mind state. That cannot happen. So like this, life goes on. But he also mentions there that we have to bring in the practice of meditation at a very young age. So that is what this para is actually the message which Percival is giving us. We tend to get so preoccupied with the material world that we forget what we have actually come here for. So that is what this para actually means, is what I feel.
Yeah, rightly put. That is, only meditation can give us the awareness, the conscious living that is required of us, that is planned by us. But we slip away from that plan, we forget the plan, and we live some other life. Go back, the same old person, again we have to come back. So as Shankaracharya has rightly put it, Punarabha Jananam, Punarabhi Maranam, we go on lifetime after lifetime and without any effect at all. So we don't understand the truth, for which the whole life has been designed for us to know the truth, but we slip away from that. That is the illusion or the unconscious state in which we live. So Percival also has put it so very beautifully. So now with the wisdom of Percival, I am sure all of us will start thinking what we are, that we are that great energy, consciousness and wisdom entity that enlivens this body, and we continue to live that, and we are not the body. So that we will come to understand slowly, and then we will get the realization of it by and by. So thank you very much for listening to this great session. So we come to the end of the session. Thank you.
Thank you, friends.
Thank you.